and privileged to have our CEO together with us. And we must say that this, our CEO, has been a great blessing to this company. She is everywhere. Unaenda kwa TikTok unamkuta huko. Unaenda YouTube unamkuta huko. Unaenda kwa Lean Ngugi unamkuta huko. Unaenda Facebook unamkuta huko. Unaenda our diaspora clients wananiambianga tulimuona kwa social media, and that's why we have decided to book an appointment. And it's like she's everywhere. You go everywhere in the social media, you find her there, and I'm sure most of you have seen her there. She has a lot to offer, and we are blessed to have her around together with the director, and she's the right one to introduce the director. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to request you to stand on our feet. Stand on our feet. Kindly stand on our feet as we usher in our CEO to really take over from there. Do you have another mic? Any other mic that is? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Tumpatie makofi tafadhali, tumpatie makofi tafadhali. Tuweze kumkaribisha tafadhali, makofi mazuri. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Good morning, our guardians. How are you today? Wanakuti, thank you. And at this particular moment, I'm here as a psychologist. However, because we have our director here, I'll just introduce him, but I know we'll still introduce him once again once we start with the main ceremony. So, Mr. Samuel.
Morning, everyone. Thank you for being here, actually. My name is Samuel Mushiri. I'm the one who partners with Triza in running Allsmiles Therapy Center. And without these people that you've seen speaking here, we would not be where we are. Without a person called Julius Kuti, Catherine, Maury Fixen, Dr. Fabio, I don't know where they are. And, oh yeah, Fabio is over there. And most importantly, we have people that you'll never see standing here in front. People like Derek. Without Derek, those boys would have slept hungry in the dorms. Without someone called Frida, you wouldn't even know who Frida is. But without Frida, those kids will not have had food in the kitchen. Those are the people, that we don't know, but they're very important in this organization. And I just want to thank you, and also everyone who has supported this mission. Also the parents for trusting us and bringing your kids for us for 10 days. I'm sure there's a parent who told me that kid has never left his house or besides him for the last, 14 years. Now he has gone for 10 days. That is something important. You see, and then he told us that, now he has discovered this kid, he can go to boarding school, because the way you're saying, he thought his kid is very weak. Once he goes to boarding school, atakuja hapo amekonda, sijui mifupa hivi. But now you're seeing the kid is eating. He never takes like oranges at home. Anasemanga hiyo ni kali. But now alipata anakula ile machungwa kubwa kwa zile za kumbe mimi nambeba kama mtoto. You see? So thank you so much, and yeah, we appreciate you, everyone.
Thank you. Let's clap for him. Okay. A lot. This morning we've learned a lot from our psychologist, and so I will not take much of your time, and I will really ensure that I'm not repeating what they've shared. However, I would like we have some deep conversation before I go to the main reason why I have been invited at this time. Guardians in the house, how often do we have sex conversations with our kids? Once a year? Hands up. Since the age of 5? Hands up. Okay, when did you hold these conversations? When they were how old? Baba Mark? If I know your son, then you are not lucky. When they were how old? Okay, do we have such conversations with them? You do? At what age? I think I would need some mic there, please.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I'm 𝗣𝗥𝗢𝗚𝗥𝗔𝗠, and I would like to say, to be frank, we are all African. It's not very easy to have this kind of conversation with the kids, but nowadays we just we normally get this discussion whenever it occurs to us as a shocker when you realize the kid is asking something related to sex or sexuality, or when you discover they know something that you have never had a conversation about, or when they're at school and then a teacher mentions something about boy, girl, something, then that's when it occurs that you need to have a conversation. However, right now, I think most parents can attest that we are all under pressure to have that conversation. And to some point, we do, but we do not have like a definite times or when to discuss, but at least we are trying.
Thank you. Let's clap for him. At least we are trying. I'll only ask one more question. So, apart from 𝗣𝗥𝗢𝗚𝗥𝗔𝗠, who else has tried? I had so many yes there. Yes. Maybe now I would like you to tell us what you shared with them. Not how it came to be, what you shared with them. We have Mom there. Yes.
Hi, everyone. I discovered a book at Textbook Center. There's two of them. There's a pink one and there's a blue one. I forget the name, but the author, basically their intention was, if I leave this earth, I've left my children with documentation about everything to do with sex. So I thought it was very interesting that I can be guided on how to have the conversation with them instead of just pulling things out of my head. So my son was 10 and my daughter was 7. And we went through the book, and it doesn't just deep dive into sex. It starts with the body parts, what happens when you're 13, expect this, that, and the other, and even the emotions that come with them. And that's how we deep dived into sex. And we're still keeping it age appropriate. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm still stuck at age appropriate. Now I want to know, what did you tell them sex is? Now let's go to what sex is. You are having this conversation with your kids. Anyone? Anyone who has ever had such conversation? Yes, over there.
Thank you, Mama Jade. And about the sex talk, we started when it was, I think, about 7 years, age appropriate again. But my approach was, I think I had attended a session like this where we were talking about starting it. And it was question-based, like, you know sex? What is sex? Then he said, I saw it written in our boys' toilet. What does it mean? At that time, he was a bit younger when he mentioned he saw it written. But later when I asked him again, he said, it is when the penis goes into a woman's vagina that is sex. And he said it. And I realized, oh, okay, if he can say it, I can also discuss it freely with him. And that is how we started the discussion about what it is, what are the repercussions, when should it be done, who should do it, and with age also, like this year, first time when they were going to open, there's a lot of LGBTQ and in the social media, it is there, whether we talk about it or not. So with his dad, there's a day we were talking and saying we either talk to him about it or somebody else will tell him, and they might tell him by doing it. So we said, okay, we just plunge in. Then you hold your stomach tight and say, what do you think this word means? He says, I know it, but I don't know what it means. Okay, then this is what it means. What is masturbation? What is gazing? What is all that? But approach has been, I first ask the question to hear what he already knows or what he has heard or what he has Googled. Then explain from my point of view after Googling as well. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much. Let's clap for her. At this moment, I feel like my session is over. Thank you so much. We start having sex conversation with our kids from the age of 5 and above. You start as they are growing. We normalize. Baba Jotham has talked about we are Africans. Psychologists here will tell you there is some things we do to minimize the situation, to run away as a defense mechanism. And one of it is we are Africans. I'm not correcting him. I'm actually have learned something that I should introduce so that we can get to know. Or in our culture, we never discuss about these things. It's taboo. We don't talk about sex. When you're talking about sex, now you become so glued, you can't even look at them, have the eye contact. Because we were taught sex is bad. Sex should not be a subject until you are grown enough to discover what sex is, right? So those are some of the defense mechanisms. But do we still do sex? We do, and we are Africans, right? What I mean is Mama Jade has explained a lot of things. If we don't share with them, we create a void. And that void will still be filled in. The question is, how and the information that will be used to fill in the void that us as the parents, we've just left out. Because they'll go to ask someone else what sex is. They'll have to be shown what sex is practically. Are you seeing? Practically. What is happening to our kids when they are being elaborated to practically? They are actually being abused. They are being raped. So we start at the age of 5. Of course, I'm not here to guide you. There is no menu about it. There is no steps about it. Also, it depends with different family setups. But for our kids, we just allow them to be kids, regardless of our social status, social class, where we work, the much we know. And we just walk with them all through. It starts with, you see, you have a penis, and your sister looks different. Start from explaining from that perspective why the sister looks different. Because again, they'll be left to experiment on their own. How comes when you go to Susu, yours comes like this, for this other one you must quote? Do we give such explanations? Or we just allow? That's why now they'll go try to see when they are showering. Let me see, because they're different. No, we should be the ones letting them know the difference between a boy and a girl. Is that okay? You start and you are growing. We are all talking about age discretion. Yes, you get to know what to say. We also go on to other aspects. Why your sister can be in trousers, in dresses, but you are only restricted to put on trousers, shorts, and all that. Right? By the time you are doing this, you're already creating gender identity to this kid as early as they are. Again, have said this, depends with the family dynamics. As psychologists, we will tell you we are not in support, neither are we against LGBTQ. Just like religion, just like culture and beliefs, ours is very different, because when you come, we want to know who you are. So again, you will be able to know, is it the right time for me to introduce gender? But again, the question comes, we all went through the school, right? We were taught how a boy is and how a girl is. So before we get to a point that we are deciding for our kids, let's just allow them to grow. Let's allow our kids to be kids and not try to reparent ourselves in them. Because most of the time, we want to reparent ourselves. What you never achieved, it's what you want them to achieve. I wanted to become a doctor, and so you must become a doctor. A story for another day. We've already been told about the counseling conference happening very soon. And I'll let you know, as I'm finishing, why we need to have it very, very soon. But before then, back to sex education. So you go on. She has talked about masturbation. They happen because we know for men in the house, and for moms, because we are mom, friends, guests of a boy child. You know, the boy that you brought to us is now a young man. So that's why we are here. We know as they go on, and part of their development, what happens? They'll start having erections in the morning, right? So they will wake up, and some will even come crying. You know, Daddy, it's like, nimefura, you know, how do I go about this? If you do not have such thoughts, they will try to make it go back to the normal position. What will be happening in the process? They'll discover where, in the process of touching and trying to make it go back to the normal position, there is a good feeling, right? What are they doing in the process? They're masturbating, right? You see, when we were asking about ARE, you are all talking about it. Let's normalize these conversations. We are talking of masturbation in this case. So, again, we've left it either for them to discover, for the world to come and fill in the gap, because as parents, we are not telling them. And what will happen in the process? You know, kids, they like exploring. They'll still go to the sister. You know, I did this. I saw some susu coming out. Let's try yours and see. What are they doing in the process? What are they doing? Now, we have kids. We have a daughter and a son, and abuse in place. As a psychologist, we have a third chair because we already have abuse in place, and now we have your daughter and your son. Who is abusing who in this case? Is it the daughter or the son? Back to you, guardians. Is it the daughter or the son? It's both. How many agrees it's both? By show of hands. Okay. How many agrees it's the daughter? It's the son? It's you as the guardian. It's not your son and not your daughter. How? How am I in abusive situation of something I know about? You know? It's all about the information you've already presented to them. You can start punishing for something you've not had a talk about. You cannot. The abuser in this case is you as the guardian. The person who needs to be punished, it's you. And you know what? I know at this point, we are all thinking like, well, I know my kids so well. Parents, psychologists here, they will tell you, you absolutely do not know them. I'm not referring to your sons per se. I'm not. But I'll tell you, with me here, I have, this is not Pharma Plus per se, I have just used their envelope given by my 𝗣𝗥𝗢𝗚, and I'll tell you what it's carrying. However, we are saying this from experience during kids therapy. If you are here as a guardian, you are lucky because your son already has gone through counseling. There is a question we asked in our social media. How old were you when you had your first counseling session? If I may ask, now I'll twist it. Between you and your son. Okay, let me not compare. How old were you when you had your first counseling session? Okay, have you ever had any? Oh, so your son is already ahead. And you're looking forward to go and ask them how it was all about. Did we tell them about confidentiality and privacy? Trust you me, whatever they tell you may not be what they shared. And when you come to us, we absolutely protect the minor. Confidentiality is confidentiality. The moment you come and you give us consent to see your kid, we are not accountable to you. We only come back to you when we need you as a support system. We say in therapy, our limits to confidentiality is only when you're about to cause harm to self or others. In this case, we add a little more when the minor is at a risk. You get? When you are an adult and you are at a risk, it's actually not limits to confidentiality. It's us to be in charge and get to know how do we break this emotional jail that you're already into and you're not aware that you're in an abusive situation. Anyway, another reason for the counseling conference, back to sex education. So you are growing on with them. You've already know a time by knowing or not knowing, but we say there is something we say about what is no defense. Ignorance is no defense. So whether you know or not, the fact that you are a parent, we are now talking about normal, we want to normalize parenting, intentional parenting. When you talk about intentional parenting means you actually need to do more research. It's work. It's work to parent. However, it will become very simple, a very loving one that will never have burnout when you are very intentional about it. So now we've moved from masturbation and now they grow on. So, you know, these things they'll go and ask our nannies. We've talked about co-parenting and we've made it clear we co-parent with our nannies. The moment you get to know that co-parenting, not about the baby mama, baby daddy, and all that, it's about every person who is involved in the steps of our kids, the better. Why? Because we will be able to let them know of our expectations as parents. This is how I would want my son to be addressed, my daughter to be taken care of. We have conversations. You know, the world has made it so hard that the conversation we have with our nannies is too much salt, I don't know, too much sugar. Did you do this? Why didn't you? Have they eaten? Have they showered? Have they slept? For those left to assist with homework, are they done with homework? Do you get time to have deep conversation with them? To just be there. You don't have to talk. Malfixen has talked about something. Just allow them to also educate you. How are they today? Are you seeing? When you're not asking a close-ended question. How is he? Now they will start. And in the process, you learn, oh, my son is already doing this. You see, with that, you're already in collaboration. Ladies in the house, our nannies, they're very, very important aspect in our lives. We should have them so close, just like your sister and just like your friend, but of course with the proper boundaries, right? They should be your first support system. Think of your kid, those with young ones, and now that they're at home. If they are not here, they're at home. Who have you left them with? By the time you are calling your sister, who stays I don't know where, it's your nanny you will start. Right? Again, another discussion for another day. I think our counseling conference is almost full now. Back to sex education, they'll go to the nannies, they'll go to the houseboys and all that and ask them, what is this thing I had in school about sex? And they'll definitely be shown how it's done. Your kid is being raped. So when we talk about sex conversations, there is things that we need to make clear. Number one, and please note, these are not steps that this is how I'm going to have conversation. No. It's now this for you to digest as a parent, and now you know how best to approach it. Is that sex is illegal for anyone under 18. That should be the first point of introduction. Should you be found doing this, definitely what happens when now we go matters legal? Jail is an option, right? Please note, when you introduce the conversation as a way of throwing in threats, by the way, they get to know you are throwing in threats. Explain to them why is it illegal? Because sex needs consent. And who can give consent? Can only be someone 18 years and above. Are you seeing? So, when you are not 18 years and above, you also can't give consent. And so, it becomes rape. At what time do we tell them what rape is? You see? Illegal aspect. Now we move. When someone tries to show you how it's done to have sex with you, they're actually raping you, the abuse. And when you talk about sex, please note, it's just not about penetration. A lot of things. Before penetration, what comes first? They will start being touched here, touched. You get. So do we get to tell them about all these things? Do you know we have even some of our helpers, our relatives who will masturbate just by touching our kids? Do we know that? So at what time do we tell them that also is equal to sexual abuse? Or we just tell them when someone penetrates or when someone tries? We need to have these conversations. Inappropriate touch. Where they should be touched, where they should not, and the reason why they're being touched. You're putting on socks, you've asked her to help you, that's not sexual abuse. But they're doing this, they're playing with your balls, that's sexual abuse. Are you getting? Yes, they're very, very hard conversations. Very hard conversations. But dear parents and guardians, if we don't have these conversations with our kids, the things we are seeing in therapy today, we are no longer during our time. The other day we were talking with our psychologist, and I remember we were asking, what happened to those videos of gonorrhea and syphilis? And you remember those things? Like they made us, for ladies, we were made believe all the men have what? Syphilis and gonorrhea. So even by just being close to them, you get it, right? And I think they were being shown even for free during primary school. Okay, if you are our era, I don't know about the recent one, because we have a generation between us and we have Gen Z in place. What happened to those videos? Are they still effective? Do you think they are? I'll tell you why they're not effective. When you tell them about gonorrhea, they know the medication for it. See, I will take this. When you tell them about syphilis, yeah, I'll go and they'll do A, B, C, D. So are they really effective? HIV, it's now a condition, right? With ARV, you live well, right? So now, because they are not effective, just like when we were growing up, the medicines that currently we are using, we no longer use them because time keeps on evolving. Get to know, it's also time to evolve sex conversation with our kids. We can never go the way of threats and all. So we've talked about it being illegal, the rape aspect, and that comes with an entire, including the abuse and all that. There is something else, fear. Fear is there. Fear and secrecy is a very important thing. Our kids, they're being sexually abused and silenced with fear. Should you tell on me, I will poison you. You see, I'm preparing your food. I will poison you, you will all die, and your mom and dad will also die. Even you as a kid. Would you dare? Would you dare? And in any way, you are an absent. I'm not referring to you. If you're an absent we've been told, not just physical, you can be physically present, but emotionally absent. They will figure out. By the way, in this house, I'm even more close to her than I am to my parents. So for me to protect my parents, for them not to die, I will not tell anyone. They grow and they come for therapy when they are of our age. Childhood traumas, an entire discussion. You see? They are told, if you dare tell on me, I'll come with a gun, I will kill you. So we are supposed to have conversation. When someone tells you that they are going to kill you, that you should not tell anyone, get to know they are lying to you. There is no guns available. They are all toy guns. When someone tells you that if you tell on them, something bad will happen to you, get to know they are lying to you. Are you their support system? Let them know. Do not keep secrets with them. Because if you do, what will happen, they'll keep on using it against you. So the best thing, don't wait for them to say they're going to kill us. Because when you tell me, I will ensure she goes home before, or he goes home. Dear guardians, as I'm finalizing on this, we are in holiday season. Most of our kids, including mine, I'm missing them. It's been 2 weeks. They are away, or they will be away with some family members. Are we sure? Do we know who our family members are? Have you ever heard of cases where uncles rape, aunties rape? And you know nowadays when you talk rape, don't say, no, I'm a mother of boy, I'm safe. Oh, is it still a conversation? Is there anyone who is safe? Even men who are here, are you safe from rape? You believe you can be raped, right? Yes. No one is. And how are these things happening? Again, support system. As we are letting our family members come and stay with us, let's have a close watch. Boundaries, attachment. And how you can get to know about some of these things is just by being there, emotionally present to your kid, because you'll be their first support system. Their system of support, should there be anything that is not okay with them, they will come to you. But will they come to you when you've not told them? You know, your cousin is in college and so we are staying with them. But that's the much you told them. You never talked about when someone touches you here and here, what you should do. Are you expecting them to come to you? Because they know nothing. So let's normalize sex conversation with our kids. It's very, very important. I know today we've learned a lot of things from our psychologists. Let's have something to take home, not just a celebration of the initiation process, but also a learning environment. And we are also open because we know learning, just like what we've been told, it's 2 ways. We can say by virtue of being here as psychologists, we may be more privileged because we've also gone to school to learn these things. Even as my Fixen was telling you, we don't look scared. It's all intentional. Like spending all those years in school, one of the things that happen is you are made know when I'm Teresa and when I'm a psychologist. So you'll come, you want to kill yourself, how do you want to do it? What if that plan fails? What if, nowadays we have some medication from Kariobangi, with all due respect, if you come from there, just a normal say. So what if the pills you bought, they are from there and they can't work? The next step, no, I know somewhere there is a tank, I'll go and dip myself. What if you still float? I will just get a rope. I tie my leg in a rock and I know definitely. They will tell you, you're actually dealing with someone who is about to be a memory. You get? We'll also have scenarios where you'll come and the presenting issues, maybe by family members, this person is suicidal. And when we evaluate, we are like, this person is just a manipulative someone who is using this. So we know here, yes, we will contract because it has been brought in, but actually we are not dealing with a suicidal case. Anyway, what I'm saying is we may be having information because of either learning or experience because we see your kids. However, I absolutely do not want you to have the dull faces. I'll just go into the main reason why I was invited here. Guardians, are we still here? We are still here, right? We say this is transition in the most professional way. Our doctors came, they did their work, they've been here with them. they've been a call away. Personally, I got an opportunity to meet our young men yesterday and our other lady psychologists here. We had good moments with them, and we asked them, have you people missed us? And one said, but we do not know you. See, that's someone who is very much aware. And so I was trying to justify, but I was there with you day one. I can't remember you. You know, but I know definitely they've missed you so much. For our daddies, you got an opportunity to come and see them. And I think I was having conversation with Julius, and I told him, I think if we can't come in, we should also say, you people should not come in during labor ward. Like, why are you being discriminative? But now, I think from our fixed and explanation, it's somehow making more sense. But again, we know there is the up to the limit. We say mwachamila ni mtumwa, and because we are not watumwa, we had your sons here, the boys that you brought to us on 22nd, and now you've come back to get your young men. And in our program, we had one very, very interesting topic. This topic was about just tell us. It was done anonymously, an anonymous topic. What I never get to tell anyone. What I never get to tell anyone. And so we went through that. They did an express letter, like they had to write it down. And the information I have from our male psychologists, some really broke down when they were doing this. Some couldn't even, finish it all. But that's not where our work is. We have our Dr. Fabio, who is a doctor by being academically approved, PhD, and a lecturer, a psychology lecturer at KU. And so at some point we started now, we made him now become our psychologist, and we became his clients. Because, Marfixen has said it, we have, of course, the limits to confidentiality, and anytime we discuss any case is done within us as psychologists, we have something we call debrief and supervision. And when we are also overwhelmed, because we get overwhelmed with burnouts, we do case conferencing, like without having the identifiers. I have this case, a male gender, age this much, going through this, we've tried this, or we are doing this, and we get to share much more. However, yesterday, Dr. got himself having a counseling session with other psychologists. You know why? Because of the things that your sons, they've never shared with anyone. We were done with our session, and we decided to filter and to come and read out some of these things to parents. Maybe when we read them out without refreshing them, we might all get to know when we say, at time, we've lost our kids. A disclaimer, we've done this. We've removed everything that had identifier where you can get to know that it's you. And we also decided to just, do a random sampling. We've sampled where we have from more than one kid to ensure parents are not feeling like I paid to have my son here. Alafu mkuje kunisomea during graduation. No, we're not doing that. But guardians, with your permission, do you allow me to read them out? I've said with disclaimer, there is no identifier. Do you allow me? Are you ready? Great. Do we need to stretch? Oh. Okay, so you're very, very much curious to know. Okay. So I'm going to read them out. And I think the best thing is to read from here. We don't know them. And I think that's why I'm here reading them, because maybe some of our male psychologists may have interacted with them and known their handwritings. I'll ensure I'm not lifting up, just in case you have some microscopic eyes to see your son's handwriting. But I can tell you, this came from your sons. I know you are all curious. And so I will start with the first one. There are many, I'll be very, very fast. Okay. I hate seeing any parent crying. I hate seeing my siblings being bitter. I hate seeing my grandparents dying. Loss and grief. I'm sure, Kate, you've touched on that. They hate seeing them die. Let's have conversation about death with our kids, just like we do about sex and other things. And let's help them process, because it's very, very important for them to process. I hate it when my father goes out without telling us and comes back like 1 or 2 days later. I hate that my friends are always living a better life than mine. I hate when my mother gives me so many calls and I barely get time for myself. I hate that my father is constantly wasting money on useless things that he never uses. I hate that I have the worst phone. I will not say the make of this phone, because you might know, in this world. So the question, should they even be having phones? And if so, which is the best make? I don't like family violence and family separation. I hate people bullying me. I hate people. I think Marufik, I'll need your assistance here. You can just hold for me as I read it. I hate people stigmatizing me about my skin, people bullying me about my nose. I don't like the alcohol that is drunk at home. I hate seeing my dad staying away for too long. What is this? My uncles give fake promises. I hate kumpebelezwa and being babied. Seeing my parents stressed. I hate disappointing my parents academically. If they hate disappointing you academically, you need to have conversation. Is it for them or is it for you? They shouldn't feel hate because you are disappointed. We go back to them with love, that we have a winner and near. We have a win and near win. And as my son, your academic grades don't give you an identity. I have a porn addiction. I hate it when my mother takes drugs. I used to masturbate. There is one thing I have not read. Okay. I hate people bullying me. I hate my father because he was beating me up. I hate some teachers in school. They hate being bullied. Are you a support system to know that our kids, they are being bullied? I hate being annoyed by others in school, being falsely accused countless times. I would wish to add with that one. So, I hate people who are dirty, both in hygiene and mind, people who are too social. When people tell me my hobby is for ladies, anything related to boarding school. People with anger issues, when people tell me I need to socialize even when I don't. Psychologists will tell you if they hate socializing, that means there is a deep underlying issue. I don't like the way I look. I hate the way I have low self-esteem. I hate the way my fellow people treat me. Some treat me as a fissy. I hate the way some people call me. I hate the way I'm not picked to play some games. Oh, I'm not allowed to play some games because of, allow me not to say because of what. When people accuse I'm doing the wrong thing at school, parents, I want you to observe there is a lot of bullying going on in our schools. I'm reading what your sons wrote down. When I get in trouble at home for nothing, when my friends keep asking me, telling me that I'm lying, pain disturbs me sometimes. My parents always keep quiet as if they have a problem. I tried to question them, but they couldn't answer. When you keep quiet, do let them know why you are keeping quiet. It disturbs them. I want my dad to stop drinking, stroke getting drunk. Daddy, just stop drinking, stroke getting drunk. My parents always keep quiet when they meet each other many times. I tried to question, but they let me go. I waited for the answer or for conclusion of it. I tried my best, but the boundaries seemed to be very wide to get closer. Their love barriers could not mix. So I seek help. We've let our kids take care of our love life. I hate it when I'm forced to socialize. I hate being lied to, especially when being comforted. It gives me a false sense of security. They know when you're lying to them, when you're trying to comfort them. I prefer being alone at times, but I'm forced to stay with others. I am obsessed with games that parents disapprove of. I hate the language my mother uses whenever I do a wrong thing. I hate how my mother reprimands me, especially referring to me as having no common sense when she really gets annoyed and I get emotional. I don't like family violence. I hate seeing my mother crying. I hate my dad when he harasses me. I don't like my sister. Okay, I don't like. Yeah, I mean, many of them, they have sisters. I don't like my sister when she clicks at me, lying, crying, shouting at me, abusing me badly, and disrespects me. There is something about siblings rivalry. You see why we need to do that counseling conference? So that we can get to learn about siblings rivalries. Many of you, we have a case to tell, like we could fight and do that. But when it gets to them emotionally, now it becomes an abuse. So at what point do we draw the line that this is okay for them as siblings and this is an abuse? I don't like when my friend shouts at me and says that I'm ugly. I don't like my schoolmates. I don't like my guardian. I hate the way my cousins make fun of me. My friends always target me and make fun of me. I just hate myself. Yes, this is deep. So, sorry. I just hate myself, and I think I should not have come to this world. As a psychologist, this is deep. I get insulted by my peers about my body. They're being bullied and going through harassment. I don't like being forced to do something or getting forced to go somewhere. I don't like seeing my mother in danger, like getting beaten. I don't like when my parents argue sometimes. I don't like when teachers beat me. And some have targeted to bring more war on me. They bring it home and I get beaten. And someone that forgets often their homework at home gets forgiven. That's school bullying and discrimination. This is the last one. We have one interesting one. How do you get a baby? How do you sex? And they've written, the biggest question is, how do you sex someone? Mixed feelings in so many ways. Could be they sexed someone and they were told you're doing it wrongly, so they want to know how it's done. Could it, they do not know, they're just curious. They would not have asked if we had the conversation with them, right? Parents, they are more deep than this. Some, we decided not to come and read them out. Some, I know it's already work in progress, but the much I can say, our kids, they're good, they're bright, but please, let's take care of them emotionally. Physically, everything is okay, right? But I'm not scaring you. I know now some people, they're just asking, why did I even bring him here if these are things that I'm already learning? I mean, what you do not know does not kill you. Yes, but it will kill them emotionally. So which one is better? I kill you emotionally here or it kills them? The reason why we are having the conversation we have today, not because of you as a parent, but because of our young men. We've taken them through the 10-day sessions, and we wouldn't want that to be watered down when they come back home. So we try to strike a balance. Just in case you had like it's you, I'll tell you for sure, we decided to sample what had more than one queries on it. So it's not just you. I'm not telling you it's not you. It's not just you, it's you and others. And so, the need for parenting. Are we just letting them to grow up because we grew up? Or are we being intentional? You know, during our time, eyes meant something. Could get some eyes and you're like, at least I'll get something once the guest goes. And some eyes meant, leo, kitaumana, right? And that was their way of parenting. And maybe made us be who we are, but still to some, made us like gain some. We are very rigid. So there is a lot of things when it comes to parenting, not just the 4 styles of parenting. I know nowadays, because Google can provide all the information, permissive, neglectful, authoritative, authoritarian, you know, all those things, and you're like, no, I'm not like this. This is how I was parented, so I want to be like this. No, doesn't stop there. In fact, just awareness of that, it's just but the beginning. There is the emotional parenting. Dear guardians, we will definitely be having more conversation about emotional parenting. We are okay. Physical parenting, we've paid for them at Allsmiles to come for boot camp. We pay for their school fees. We provide their looking nice and all that. Today, they're very smart. Have seen them. Very, very smart. We are for them when it comes to provision. So who are we with our kids? Is our relationship a transactional one? Daddy, school, they said these have come with a letter from school. But you get to ask them, how was school today? What did you like more about school today? Or do we even have that time to have such conversation? When they come, yes, you are home. Good, that's okay. Ensure no cartoon, know all these things, rules. How is our relationship like? And finally, what is quality time with our kids? Those are some of the things that we're going to learn, because quality time is not the physical time. Like you may just think, I'm there, you watch TV. See, I'm within the house. I'm spending quality time. I mean, on Sundays, I don't go out because if I'm a Christian, we'll go to church after church. I'm with family and back to the home. And so I spend quality time. That's not quality time. That's a day-to-day normal living. Quality time is when you're intentional. No gadgets. If you're going to play, it's just you and your son or you and your daughters. Not when daddies and mummies you go to golf course and because you've carried them along and there is a pit for kids, they can go there. No, that's an adventurous time. When they are out on bouncing castles and all that, it's still adventurous. They will not also have your time. They'll be busy swinging and doing all those things. Quality time is very intentional. Very, very intentional. Our kids, they have ears, they can listen. They always speak up of what is disturbing them. But I can tell you the much we get to hear from them is only 30%. 70% of our kids' communication is unspoken. Their tears means a lot. Don't just assume. Especially we are talking of kids 6 years and above. There is what we call stage 2 of throwing tantrums and all that. Manipulative, that's very different. There is a lot of unspoken that goes to 70%. So the much I can tell you, let's be able to read the unspoken. So having said that, it's never that serious. What I can say is you are better that you are here today. You've learned, you've heard from your kids. And now I know you're going to be even more better because you're already a great parent. You're going to be, a more better parent in the near future. And because I know today's celebration is not about us, we'll definitely be having their session and a session with them and also session with you people later on. And we'll be able to discuss much more of this, including the things that we've decided not to come and read. Not like they're so scary. No, you should not be traumatized by being here. They're just things, we can't just read them out. It can just be so irresponsible of us as psychologists to read them out without doing something we call psychoeducating. So thank you so much, parents. And we look forward to, I'm sure we have an hour or so remaining to add today's activity. So we look forward to the next session of the day. Thank you so much.